guys, welcome back. So today I wanted to showcase my build which got me to rank 2000 with the totems. And yeah, before we start, let's just show you how it works. So it's nothing really special in a sense that it's also using Void Sphere. The only difference is that I have it on Hierophant, which it just so happened because I had an Inquisitor and didn't want to level again, so I just went with my Hierophant and made it work. So yeah, let's just give it a go. Basically, it's really simple. You drop your Void Sphere, you push everything towards your Void Sphere, put it a little in the middle, and then just, yeah, go for it. And channel these totems away. So basically my favorite guys to put here are actually a lot of flankers. Then you try and make them come with you, and you have escorts, and then you're usually quite fine. Maybe one or two defenders in case something gets through, but then yeah, everything looks like this. It doesn't really get harder. Okay, so what's the trick here? So basic idea here is that you try to max out your defenses. You don't care, I mean everything is going to one hit you, so you don't care about armor. All you care about is evasion and chance to dodge spells, as well as chance to block attack and block spell damage. So the basic idea, so how do we get there? So for blocking, what you're going to need is rear guard, and if you have rear guard, you're going to combine it with Widow Hail, and that almost gets you full block chance and full spell block chance. You put in another Rainbow Stride, and then you're usually maxed out. If these have good rolls, these three, you're maxed out, and the bottom part is done. So evasion rating is actually kind of hard on the Inquisitor / Hierophant side. This one you have to work a little bit for. So what I did was I used the Lion Pelt with a lot of evasion. I have this amulet. The alternative here would be Ashes. So, but at the time I put this build together, I didn't really have the currency for Ashes, and so I just went with this one, and I kind of stuck to it. It just has a lot of grace and evasion rating, so it was fine for me. Because you're a one hit anyway, you don't care about resistances, right? So whatever. Then what else do we need? So yeah, that's it on the defenses part, to be honest. So I do have Mage Blood here, and Mage Blood is not necessary. It's again nice to have as always, but it's not necessary. You can gain flask charges in a different way, and you don't need 4 flasks. So all the flasks you actually need are the evasion ones. So the Jade Flask, you need some sort of Jade Flask, and you need some sort of Stibnite Flask. Other than that, yeah, the others are just luxuries. So Quicksilver is just luxury. The Quartz Flask is just luxury. I should mention that I have evasion rating on both these flasks, but this doesn't work, so only one of these flasks will have the evasion rating up. It's just so happened that they rolled this way. This one, I didn't really know what else to roll on it, so I just left it with an open, open suffix. And this one right here is just so I always have phasing and to increase my spell suppression chance, because if you look at the tree, then you'll see that getting spell suppression on this side of the tree is like really hard. And self Jax Max. So the basic idea here to get spell suppression or spell dodge chance is to use acrobatics. If you take acrobatics, then what it does is it gives you dodge spell instead of dodge suppression, but only at a certain percentage of the value, so it's only at 50% of the value. And nevertheless, you try to stack your spell suppression as high as you can. So that means for this part of the tree, you just wander around and around and around. You could go through the middle, but I reckon that's not really I counted it through and it wasn't faster. So you go around here, and then you get this node, and you get this one right here. This cluster is insane for spell suppression, to be honest. And then what I did is I got this guy right here, so impossible escape for precise technique. It's a really cheap one. And then you get this spell suppression cluster here. You get a lot more evasion while phasing, so that's the reason I have the phasing flask. Although you're phasing a lot anyway because you can't put phase run in here. So where do I have it? Here, over here. So you're phasing a lot there too. So yeah, this one is definitely worth it. And I was missing a little bit of dex, so I just put in the dex one. Yeah, but that's the basic idea. If you're thinking about which class to take, I think you would be a lot better off just taking something on this side, like a pathfinder. It'll also help with the flasks, so you don't need mage blood. And yeah, then you really easily fill up your evasion, fill up your phase, or fill up your spell suppression, and it's a lot easier than starting on this side. Nevertheless, this made it work. So what's kind of nice about the Hierophant is, of course, Sanctuary of Thought. You don't have any problems with fitting in your auras. This sort of just solve everything. And on the other hand, what you also have is this Illuminated Devotion. What this does is you can really easily get Arcane Surge through Arcane Blessing. So you just have to cast the Void Sphere, and then Arcane Surge will come, and then what you get is a lot of extra area of effect, and this area of effect actually scales really nicely with Void Sphere. So we have area of effect here, we have here in the tree, we have area of effect over here. There's a few different parts. Over here I took area of effect. So the Void Sphere is essentially really, really large, so anything which tries to go even remotely close to the middle is just drawn to the Void Sphere, and that's it. Okay, what else do we need on the tree? So Resolute Technique is a really good one to have. So hits can't be evaded. It's, yeah, then every time I shoot my bow I actually hit, and it knocks back because of kineticism. So yeah, that one is really good. This one right here, so if you don't have a mage blood, what you would put in here is actually a Timeless Jewel. And you take the Timeless Jewel, which allows you to regenerate flask charges. Well, instead of Hexmaster, it'll regenerate flask charges for each missing flask you have. So what you try to do is you just try to put in 2 flasks for evasion, and the rest is missing, and then you'll regenerate flask charges, and it'll just keep the flasks up the whole time. You do have to roll them differently though, so these are rolled for mage blood. I'm not sure if I still have them, let me check. But essentially what you need is, oh no wait, there was one. Something like this, so you need increased duration instead, like tier 1, or I think it was at least tier 2 what you need. You have to check it out with your build, but yeah, that'll get you really far, and that'll sustain definitely. Okay. So this is the only change you have to make if you're not running Mage Blood. Put in a Timeless Jewel here, which gains flask charges over here, and then you're fine. So here I put in my Warrior's Tale. I do have tattoos of the Hinekora Makanga. So this is just for increased effect of my curses. I wouldn't even say that they're necessary. They're nice to have, but absolutely not necessary. It's just luxury, to be honest. And the one which I would really recommend, however, is this one right here. So this is just so you gain onslaught, you have a little bit more action speed, and yeah, that's always good to have. And other than that, I didn't really put a lot of effort into tattoos, as you can see. These tattoos down here, they're just yeah, leftovers from when the build was still an Inquisitor and I was starting to experiment with tattoos. So the only really sensible one is this one maybe, The others are just, yeah, you can just ignore those. And maybe I'll even take him out of the pub. Okay, so what else do we have? Prism Watcher's Eye for more spell suppression. And yeah, that's about it. That's pretty standard. Concerning the items, so we talked about these already. I have the Lion's Pelt with a lot of evasion. The Dialas is absolutely necessary. In the Dialas, you socket in your Void Sphere. I took the Phantasmal Void Sphere for the increased pulse frequency. I left it at level 1 because I actually don't want it to do any damage. I want the enemies to just stay at the Void Sphere. And if I'm doing damage, they might die and then they get respawned at the totems and I have to push them back to the Void Sphere. So that's annoying. I just want them to stay there and then I can take care of the totems in the meantime. Okay. What else do I have? Other than that, I just try to get a lot of increased area of effect. So I have increased area of effect here. I have increased area of effect here. I have the increased duration. The second wind, so I can drop a second one if the Void Sphere was just placed wrong or if I wanted to be placed somewhere else. And then enhance, of course. Enhance, super important here. Really, really good. Okay. So what else do we have? We do have Temporal Rift in here. It's just for cooldown recovery. We have Grace, obviously. We have Haste for increased speed. We have Phase Run for just running over really quickly and phasing. We have Frostblink in here for movement. Yeah, the Dread Banner, it's just so the enemies have less accuracy. What else do we have? This is the knockback setup. It's made with it's done with the ensnaring arrow, and ensnaring arrow just slows your enemies further. You have the knockback support here, so you actually knock them back. You have the gloves for increased knockback distance, and then you have these two rings. The two rings are super important because they carry your curses, temporal chains and enfeeble. Two curses which just your enemies aren't doing anything once they're cursed and in the Void Sphere and being knocked back and ensnared. Yeah, it's over for them. I also have Bear Trap in here. I'm not sure if it actually does anything. I just didn't know what else to put in there. So sometimes I will drop these. I don't even think that it makes a big difference at all. Usually I forget about them, to be honest. Okay, so that's it on the build. That'll easily get you to 2000, and if you have any questions, just drop on by, ask questions about the build. I'll put the pub in the description. Cheers.